It's not even night yet, and we're being followed? Reggie asks casually to Am and Koa. They're driving alone inside Caddy Downshift. She wanted to go out but didn't feel safe doing so alone, but didn't want anyone driving her, and it just kept going in circles. So they had bought and outfitted her with a holoprojector so that she could show a shrunken-down version of herself in her own driver's seat. She starts giggling, and all three men give her hologram an odd look. They're just jealous that I've got three men inside me and they can't get any... She jokes, and the hologram flickers nervously as the men chuckle at the dirty joke. Yes, She freezes as she sees one of the fossa on the street. Everybody out, she screeches, pulling over to the opposite side, and the doors fly open. The men jump out and Kadi zooms away back to the Dauntless. And she was doing so well too, Koa mutters. Pity, Reggie notes. Until she lets go of her fear of Karen Darkdown enough to see another of her species without panicking, then healing is going to be a long way off. Koa grumps. She did okay. It took a fossa and a suit to scare her. A Paulette-swapped version of her abuser, that's a good step in the short time since she escaped from her multiple years of abuse. Am says kindly, and Reggie shrugs even as he shudders at the impulses his body is sending him. She's not the only one getting used to things, Reggie growls. It's just lust, dude. Find someplace private, rub it out, wash your hands, and move on. Am scolds him and gets a confused and angry look from Reggie. Why am I with you two again? Because apparently we're a team now with our knack for finding conspiracies. Koa answers, and Reggie groans. The engineer just starts walking off. They all know the way back to the Dauntless, so they're not too worried about being abandoned by the panicking Kadi. So, is there something you want to do? We have to get the people used to seeing humans in the capital, so it's probably best to be doing something with it, Am asks as he pulls out a book. He knows what he wants to do, but the average bookstore doesn't like random people walking in, pulling a book off the shelf, and just reading it there without even buying it. Reggie begins glancing back and seeing the book, reminding him of the one he borrowed and is still carrying. Why don't we just find a park and hang out or something, he remarks, and Koa shrugs. Sure, there should be some pushcart snack vendors or something. That might be interesting. Koa thinks as Am tucks away his book and pulls out his communicator for directions. About half an hour later, and all three of them are under a tree whose leaves shape into natural spirals. Apparently, they collect the wind and build momentum to be partially buried in the ground where a new tree can sprout. It's interesting and fairly artistic. Koa's already got a sample being preserved by a bit of plastic that had once held a thing on a stick he'd bought. He wasn't completely sure what it was, but a quick scan had said it was all right to eat, and the taste was something weird, but not a bad weird. What is that thing? Reggie asks in confusion. Half a fried squid bat? I don't know. Tasty, though. What was it called? Am prompts as he flips the next page in his book, keeping track of the groups wandering around the park. Most, if not all of them, spend at least some time staring at them. Oil-seared bi-knit half, on a stick. It's weird but very inoffensive. I think I like it. Need some salt, though. Hey, you still got that shaker? Koa asks, and Am holds out the camping shaker. Thank you. No, don't! A woman screams as Koa puts the remainder of the bi-knit into his mouth. Everyone freezes. Desist! Do not! It's deadly! Poison! The woman screaming slows down and starts gasping as she approaches before stopping near to them and gasping for breath. Someone needs to stop skipping cardio, Reggie remarks before he frowns as he realizes he was watching her bosom heaving. The alien woman has dark blue skin, glowing yellow eyes, and jet black hair. She's wearing an outfit that has the emblem of a training academy for local guards. The creme of the crop go to the Senate and stand around doing nothing on intergalactic television. The ones that don't make the top grade do actual work with various companies, and the ones that barely scrape by are given a license, and that's about it. This one would be lucky to get even that. Can we help you? Koa asks after finishing off his snack. He passes the shaker back to Am, who tucks it away. Oh, goddess, you ate it! I'm too late! No! She declares, falling to her knees and howling at the sky as a pair of tiny, bat-like wings poke out behind her in her agitation, tearing through her shirt in the process. What are you doing now, Nitta? A very similar voice asks as a white-haired version of the girl rushes up, much quicker and much more steady than the first, and skids to a stop rather than staggering. He's going to die. He's going to die because I couldn't save him. His food was sabotaged and I, Nita declares before falling to the ground and sobbing, I'll never get a boyfriend. She starts bawling as the second one of the girls looks heavenward as if begging a higher power for patience. What's going on? The new girl asks the less stunned and more amused, but still somewhat stunned trio. I was just having a snack when she ran up screaming and then pitched this fit when I kept eating, Koa remarks, and Nita heaves another sob. The canister! It's full of deadly poison, and you sprinkled it all over your food! She gasps out between sobs. My digestion is very robust, ma'am. I could eat the contents of that canister straight if the taste wouldn't be overwhelming. Koa begins, assuring the hysterical little alien. How much are you? I am not putting any money on it, he says, not even looking at Am, who chuckles in response. Nothing can resist the amount of capsaicin that's in that shaker, the sodium chloride or ground pain kernels. It's all madness. He just put it on his bi-knit. Nita wept. Miss, my species, the human, are very, very resistant to poisons. I assure you, the contents of that canister were nothing but flavorings to me. Sir, are you all right? The white-haired one asks, and Koa nods. Are you certain? You do know humans aren't real, right? We're not, Reggie asks, glancing at Koa. Then what are we doing here? Shouldn't we be in someone's imagination? He snarks out and gets a stern look from the girl. Look, I don't know who put you gentlemen up to this, but it's not fair and it's not nice. There is no race from cruel space. There is no species that has a 1-to-1 gender ratio. These sorts of things cannot possibly exist. Null is not only dangerous to all life, but all things. It makes axiom dissolve or detonate, and axiom is within all things. Therefore, nothing can exist within that giant, evil cloud of null. We're awfully solid for race that doesn't exist, Reggie notes to Am's amusement. Yes, stir the shit. Let the snark flow through you, he adds in a mildly raspy voice. Shut up, Reggie responds, and the nerd starts chuckling. What? She asks, as her inconsolable friend and possibly family member grabs onto her leg to keep up the exaggerated weeping. Koa is very aware of the large crowd that's gathered to watch the drama. M has already tucked his book away and is considering how exactly to get them out of the crowd turns on them for some reason. Pop culture reference. Koa waves it off even as he glances around. There's a few more food vendors taking wonderful advantage of the gathering crowd to the drama, which includes some things he hasn't tried yet. But no doubt things would get odder if he were to get up and buy some himself. A pity. I've never heard it before. It's part of our pop culture. But seeing as how you don't even believe in humans, though how the hell that's possible is beyond me, it's no wonder you haven't seen it, Koa remarks before looking around. Great, your little sister? Yes, my sister, she says, as Nita's bawling finally trails away to sniffling. Her little drama queen act has cut me off from more snacks, rather. The wind shifts as he speaks, picking up and carrying the scent that had previously lightly blowing away from the girls right into them. Rude. Oh boy. Here we go. The stories of what's about to happen have been told long and often by any of the boys in the EFL. Oh, that... you... oh my... You're in season? The still-standing sister demands in shock as Nita looks up towards Koa with tears in her eyes. You must have someone to live beyond your death. Come here, Nita declares before diving at Koa. Starts laughing out loud as Koa tries to wrestle the little freak off him with the help of her sister, who puts her into a full Nelson. What are 3 men in the peak of their season doing out in public? You could run into a criminal or a slaver or... Is that common in Centris? Reggie asks incredulously before glancing around the crowd. Sure, a lot of them look downright hungry in ways he's not comfortable with, but they don't look anywhere near aggressive enough to take what they want by force. There you are. A familiar voice coos as Misty the Snake Cougar buzzes over the crowd. I had heard you'd been rejuvenated by the healing sleep, but this is astounding. She coos as she saunters up to Reggie, who looks like he's staring down an oncoming train. Hey, is it really him? Shireen asks, forcing her way through the crowd. Oh, wow, it is him and he has friends! The 6-bodied woman exclaims as her larger lower half easily parts the crowd. Aren't we popular? Koa asks Reggie as Am chuckles and gets a dirty look in return. Why don't you attend to your own suitors? They clearly care for you deeply, Koa. Reggie returns, as Am devolves into straight-up giggling at this point at the sheer entertainment. Until they stop trying to deny I even exist, I'm not going to consider these two as courting me, Koa says as Am snorts anew after finally getting his giggling under control. Cork at you. This crowd's going to spit out someone to start hitting on you soon enough. Then we see exactly what kind of madness you attract. Oh, dude, I'm counting on it. Even without our little sideshows, it was going to happen because unlike you, idiots, this man's got a plan. Am boasts as he tucks his book away. In fact, they should be here any moment now. Dear God, he does have a plan. Reggie notes as he backs up a little from Misty, who starts looming over him. Now, from what I understand, handsome, you have regained your capacity to perform. I was hoping that you'd be in a mood to test it out possibly with a lovely ripe snict and maybe her lidrous friend as well. Misty purrs down at him. She had clearly been getting ready for this as she looks ready to fall out of her dress with Shireen looking desperately awkward and earnest behind her as a counterpoint. Amadi! A familiar bouncy voice calls out. It's Jenny, the waitress, and what seems to be her entire immediate social circle. You boys have fun with your girls. I'm about to figure out what a rabbit woman considers a small group of friends to get freaky with, he says, getting up. Try not to get in over your heads, bros. What the hell, Am? Reggie demands. What? I want it. She wants to give it. What's the problem? Do you have any idea what? Don't care. Getting some. Am cuts off Koa as he starts walking to the dozen exuberant rabbis women who are bouncing in many different ways to see him.